This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich.
And I'm Kelly Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here. Well, hello, friends. Thank you so much for joining us for another conversation. I am here with my girl, Taylor. Taylor, how are you?
I'm doing very well. We are now a few weeks in to our mastermind group for the spring of 2025, and I just love our mastermind. We start off mastermind talking about the luxury market and branding and websites and social media. And I actually feel like just talking about the luxury market in general and educating our students on what to look for, how to identify the luxury market, and to not be fooled by what we're seeing on Instagram is just some of the biggest mindset shifts. And we're actually going to be walking you guys through a little bit, just a little taste of some of the things we talk about with our students, and that is how to infuse more of that luxury feel into the way we are shooting and how we are approaching a wedding day. So I'm excited for this one.
Absolutely. As we all start off our first few weddings, it's in a bit of a budget market, right? We're working with clients that don't have the biggest budgets. But as we start to scale over, the next few years, there really is a different approach that we need to take to these events because the production of these events change, the overall scale of the event changes, the clients have different expectations, there's design now included in these. And so, the way that we captured that wedding in year one is not going to be the same wedding that you're capturing in year 3, year 5, year 7, and then on and then forth. Oh my gosh, I am struggling this morning. Also, the sun just poked out. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to go change my camera settings really quick.
Actually, while Kelly changes her camera settings really quick, let's just keep rolling, Cassie. If you're watching on YouTube, if you don't mind, just hit the little subscribe button and the thumbs up icon. That actually does so much to help our channel and to help the podcast grow, because really Kelly and my mission with the Level Up Co. is to bring accessible education to the wedding industry in general. And the more people we can reach, the more we can positively impact the wedding industry. And I love the saying that a rising tide lifts all boats. And it's so true. As we all level up together, we are rising not only within our own businesses, but we are elevating the industry in general, which is only good for all of us. We all benefit. So the more people who implement what we talk about here on the podcast, it actually is going to be better for your business too. So hit subscribe, hit the little, thumbs up icon. And if you feel compelled to drop a comment and say hello, we would absolutely love that. But yes, Kelly, to your point, that is so true that as we scale within the wedding industry, we do need to change the way we are approaching shooting the event just because the scale of the event changes. But I also will add, the way you approach shooting an event can actually instantly elevate that event. So maybe it would be considered like a C-level event, and just by tweaking a few ways you shoot, that we're going to be talking about in this podcast episode. We're so excited. This one's a really, really juicy one, guys. You can instantly make it feel like a B-level wedding, or you can take a B-level wedding and just tweak a couple of the ways you approach shooting, and it can become an A-level wedding. I hope you kind of can visualize what I'm talking about, at the bottom and raising up a level. Basically, it brings it to the next level just in the way you're shooting it. And the content's not changing. Your style's not changing. You're just making little micro shifts in the way you're approaching the day.
Yeah. So we're going to walk you through 4 ways that you can instantly approach and elevate how you approach a wedding day, starting in this season. So the first one is to be observant. Taylor, how can we be more observant filmmakers and photographers in 2025?
I feel like taking a small pause, taking a breath, opening your eyes and really looking around the space and looking around the room is something not enough filmmakers or photographers are doing. And the reason I say that is because I'm always surprised by the number of images and the number of video clips that have a stray crumpled up water bottle sitting on a table for bridal prep, or things like the server trays that we could have easily like shifted the way we shoot by a foot, and then we could have avoided those things. Neon green exit signs, all
Yep.
of these things that we really do have control over, but it just takes the initial step of taking a breath and like looking around. I think that what happens, I mean, especially for myself, is I get caught up in the moment and I get kind of in like tunnel vision of executing the day, knocking things off my mental checklist, making sure I cross my T's and dot my I's. And it's kind of like the concept of not being able to see the forest through the trees. It's like you can't see the really beautiful shots because you're so hyper fixated on getting the shot, but then you're not looking around to see how you can maybe avoid capturing certain things.
Yeah, yeah. It's a live event, and there's a lot that we understand that's out of our control. We actually just filmed our first wedding last weekend at this time of recording, and Paul had this really beautiful wide shot of the first dance, and then a guest decided to like raise their hand up all the way and like film it with their phone. And so we see like the phone creep up. And so, like, obviously, those are things that are outside of our control, the guests and the pesky iPhones. But there are a lot of things that are within our control. And so we just really need to take initiative and be observant. Actually, take initiative is our number two. So let's roll into our second one. Um, Taylor, I'll put you on in the hot seat again. How can we take initiative in every step of the wedding day in order to elevate how we approach the day, how we capture it, take that C level to a B level?
Yeah, so like we said, like the first step is to be observant. You have to know what you're working with and to be able to see these things. And sometimes taking initiative is going to look like just trying to shift the angle that you're shooting or bringing the angle down to the left, to the right, what have you, just to like avoid the exit sign, whatever it may be. But sometimes we actually do have control over the thing we are observing to be maybe less than ideal within the frame, within the shot. And that can look so many ways throughout the wedding day. We are talking about bridal prep, ceremony, cocktail hour, reception. Every single scene and every single vignette throughout the wedding day is going to have things that once you start opening your eyes and seeing these things, you're not going to be able to unsee it. And these things, sometimes you are in control of them. So things like, this is one that like gets planners going. If you're a planner and you're listening to this, ding us on Instagram and let us know that you're hearing this part. But they hate crooked chairs and crooked silverware. If you're capturing the details in a reception tent, in a reception room, or if it's an al fresco dinner, they do not like that. It's a poor reflection on them and their team when things are not picture perfect. Or if it can even look like, sometimes for the ceremony, there'll be a mic stand that's placed at the front of the aisle meant to be for the officiant whenever the ceremony is happening. But if you're shooting the space, especially like those down the aisle shots, and the ceremony's not happening for another 20 minutes, like it's okay to move the mic stand out of the way just to get your shot and then place it back. So you are in control more than we think. And I feel like sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I think it comes down to like laziness or lack of awareness that you can move those things.
Yeah, I think it's like it's a twofold. Like, I think it's sometimes you get all set up at the end of the aisle and you're like, shoot, the mic stands there. I mean, for photographers, sometimes they're like, I'll just like edit it out or whatever. But for videographers, we probably need to go and like tuck that mic stand behind the arch or wherever, just out of frame, to be able to just make the whole scene feel more elevated than it is. And also, another thing that I think that we don't consider is that we can kind of like mold the event to be what it needs to be. So, for example, like in more of the budget market, you see, or even the lovely market, you see a lot of recycling of florals. In the luxury market, those florals really kind of stay in each of their elements. Like the ceremony florals stay at the ceremony. Like in the lovely market, you'll see the arch maybe moves from the ceremony to behind the head table or something like that. So
Mhm.
you'll see that recycling a lot. But when you're in the budget market and you may be sitting here being like, okay, guys, like I am working with not a lot here when it comes to details, you can do what you need to do to be able to elevate that scene. So let me just give you a really great example. Maybe there is an arrangement that was at ceremony and you want to set a scene, a little vignette of the bar sign with some cocktails, but there was just no bar florals. Okay, well, when it's appropriate and no one's using that other like floral arrangement or something, you can totally take that floral arrangement for a couple of minutes, set it as a little bar vignette, and really elevate it to what you need it to be, in order to
Mhm.
elevate your work. So I think sometimes, like, Paul and I, man, we hustled. And I'm sure, Taylor,
Yeah.
you hustled too to make those events more than what they were in order to elevate our work. And it really is true. Like, you kind of have to fake it till you make it,
Gotta get scrappy.
Get scrappy, right?
Yeah.
Um,
But some
so
people
we're,
may not even know that you can, like, do these things. I'm sure people are listening to this in the car on their way to weddings or while they're editing and they're like, light bulbs are going off. They're like, "What? I can, like, move things around?" And it's like, yeah, actually, I have a great story. So, maybe like 3 years ago, I was working with a planner and she's a friend of mine and I love her to death. She happens to be a planner who is, maybe a few steps below me, but she does always, like, pretty much once a year, she'll get like that one wedding that can afford me, which is like so fun because I love working with her. And she was so proud of this event that she was doing, but the client's budget, was not endless. But she had really like big dreams of this like being like a huge portfolio piece for her. And something that she did it is we carved out an extra 20 minutes in the day to shoot the tent reception details. And what we did is we like chose our like hero image table. So like the best one,
yeah,
and we moved all of the so it was like one long table and then there were lots of like round tables, right? So we actually took from most of the round tables the centerpieces and like placed them all along that center that like hero table so that it looked like this big like full table of
yeah.
like succulent not succulent what's the word I'm looking for? Starts with an S. Um I don't know.
Uh, our brains are not firing today, Taylor.
It's you guys, it's too early for us to be recording podcasts, but that's okay. We're working around schedules with all the children and it's summertime. You know how it goes. Okay, so anyway, it was like this huge, huge, gorgeous table that is not what resulted in like the day for, for the client experience eventually. And she actually, just for her portfolio, she like bought special candles, like really gorgeous, like very expensive candles, like taper candles to be placed throughout the table. And it was really just for her portfolio. Like these are probably not images that were delivered to the client per se, because it was not authentic to the way that like the day unfolded, but they are on her website and her Instagram. So there may be times when you have a great working relationship with, if there's no planner, maybe the florist.
Yeah, the
Um,
florist can be a great ally for you.
yeah, or the planner if you're working with a planner and you can kind of game plan together a little bit ahead. I wouldn't necessarily recommend bringing this up on the wedding day maybe, but maybe if the relationship is right, but like ways you can game plan to really maximize what you have and to leverage it. And again, like we tell our mastermind students this all the time with a multitude of different things, but what you're delivering to the client does not always have to be exactly the same as what's going in your branding and marketing collateral. Okay,
Yeah,
that's key. So some people may say, well, that's inauthentic to the day, but it's like, that's fine. You're still delivering what is
what's
authentic to the day to the
authentic.
client, but now
Yeah.
you're using that for marketing materials.
Yes. One thing, this was probably year 3, and this was a wedding that I didn't realize was like 6 steps ahead of me, and I wouldn't say that I fully leveraged it on the back end of like rolling it out appropriately. But one thing that kind of blew my mind, because at the time we were working with a very established photographer, and the day was kind of getting away with us from us, and the ceremony was so beautiful. It was actually up in Napa, and we the lighting was all spotty and weird, and we were just like, the photographer was like, yeah, I don't know if we can like really, I'm gonna shoot it, but if we could like reset it for after the ceremony. So like during cocktail hour, I can send one of my team members to come and shoot ceremony again. We'll straighten up all the chairs because the guests had sat in the chairs and moved from ceremony to cocktail hour. And we worked together to reset the ceremony when it was in just more softer lighting. It was just better. It showed off the space so much more beautifully. And so just know that like that's an option too. Like it doesn't have to be like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It could be like as you're checking off your checklist, you can go back and kind of change things. It could be like A, B, C, G, and then we go back, we
Backpedal.
move it up to D. Yeah, like I don't know. Um, so yeah, that's something else that you can do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like being flexible is so key. I think that, I mean, especially if you're shooting a high volume of weddings every year, like, by the time you get to wedding 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of the season, like you really kind of are in a rhythm and
Yeah.
muscle memory takes over and it feels just like going through the motions. But I feel like taking a pause, being observant, realizing that you can take initiative and there is way more flexibility than we think than we give each day credit for on the back end that will result in like such better images, such better clips for your Instagram reels, and people really do notice. So I actually had a wedding a while ago with a photographer, and I was looking at some of the preview images, and in some of like the hero images of the reception space, like there's like my second shooter walking in the background.
Oh
And I'm
no.
like, why did we choose this one? Why? Like we could have like clicked like a few more times after he had like moved. I don't know. And I
Oh,
that just like kind of stuck with me. I was like, I don't know. Like it's okay. You don't have to always be perfect, but I'm like sometimes I feel like we can go like not even like an extra mile. We can go like an extra few feet just to like get that like slightly better image. And the client probably doesn't even notice that there's like somebody walking through because she's so like focused in on like her gorgeous reception space. But like I noticed, planners are gonna notice.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. That's just like something that I feel like is really important. Like for filmmakers, like, okay, you're doing your little like parallax shot at the back of the reception space and somebody walks by. Like I'm not a huge like, it's fine. I'm like, no, I'm gonna like do that 30
Wait.
times until it's like
Yeah.
the perfect one.
Yes. Yeah. I see Paul when he's like waiting on that. I can like see him from the other side of the reception space. And I'm like, oh, he has a shot in mind and he is going to just be diligent and wait until it's the right one. And we know that it's going to be like that hero shot, for the teaser or something that might live on our website banner or whatever it is. Hey, Level Up listeners, if you want to start booking 5-figure weddings, then it's time to start curating a 5-figure experience. Get started today with our client experience bundle. Charging higher rates and booking higher quality weddings both require elevating your client experience, and our bundle is going to help you do just that. We are here to equip you with everything you need to impress your high wealth clients and full service wedding planners. With this guide, you are going to save yourself hours of troubleshooting and years of potential setback. Now, with this client experience bundle that we've put together for you, you're going to have everything at your fingertips to elevate your communication and your processes both pre-wedding day and post-wedding day. This bundle not only includes email templates, but it also includes a customizable proposal template and professional guides. If you're looking to upsell your clients to serve them really well without feeling salesy, we also include polished and professional templates that provide your client with a feeling that you have their best interest at heart while helping you increase your profits. One of my favorite things about this bundle is that it includes our style guide. Dressing for the occasion demonstrates to your client and the creative team that you respect their event and also showcases a team player mindset. It's truly an incredible resource. Head over to thelevelupco.com/shop and position yourself at the top of the market and grab our client experience bundle today. Okay, we're halfway through our list. Number 1 was be observant. Number 2 was take initiative. And if this is resonating with you guys, we actually have a really amazing resource on our shop. It's our elevated shot list. So if you're kind of like, okay, you're talking about these vignettes and you're kind of talking about what we should be shooting, but like, I maybe need to see this like in list form and I need some like actual tangible takeaways of how I can elevate each moment throughout the day. This elevated shot list is such a game changer. We actually worked on it with a luxury wedding planner who told us, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I feel like is often missed from photographers and videographers. This is what I am wowed by when it is within a gallery or in a teaser film or within the client's film in general. So like, that this elevated shot list has the stamp of approval from a luxury wedding planner. So you're getting everything that is going to really wow them in their eyes.
Yeah, I love it. So like everything we've talked about is in there, but like times 20.
Yeah.
But it talks about and provides you with a list of what to capture. So, like a literal checklist for details and flat lays, the ceremony space, cocktail hour, and the reception space in 3 different categories: wide, medium, and tight. Because if you know, you know, reception's like the best part of the day to capture for details, at least in my little opinion. But then it also provides a list of how to elevate the scene. So, what to be observant, that we're what we were just talking about, what to like keep your eyes open for, to pay attention to, and how to go that extra mile and take initiative to make small tweaks and changes to make that shot even better. And you can always find our shop products at thelevelupcode.com forward slash shop. Excuse me. But actually, my favorite part is it's a PDF document that you can like save to your phone wherever. You can copy and paste things into your notes app, but it also has a video for each of the vignettes. So again, details, flat lays, ceremony, cocktail, reception, wide, medium, tight. It has video examples of what we're looking for when it comes to the resulting images and video clips. So I just think it's nice to be able to like not only have that list, but to be able to like see it in action. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
For our visual people, which if you're a photographer or filmmaker, you most likely are a visual learner. So it is such an amazing resource. And it's so helpful to have, like Taylor said, that PDF on your phone or whatever, maybe print it out. I'm actually a big fan of printing things out rather than having them on my phone because then I don't have to pull out my phone on the wedding day and it just doesn't look as professional. So,
Also, your phone's probably dead.
okay. Well, shots fired. My phone is always dead, you guys. I'm actually like looking, I think it's like at like 3% right now. I just live on 3%. Um, okay. Number 3, moving along. Number 3, I hope you guys are loving this because we are just packing this episode with value. So number 3 is tell the whole story. So in each of the scenes on a wedding day, there is a story to be told. And first things first, you're walking into that scene, say it's getting ready, and you're being observant, right? Then you're going to take initiative based on the things that you see within the getting ready room. As an example, you're going to take initiative and you're maybe going to hide that ugly phone from the 90s that's sitting on the nightstand.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, the bane of my existence.
you're going to go in and ensure that there's beautiful natural light flowing in because a lot of times when those girls start getting ready, it's early in the morning, so they have all the fluorescent or ambient lights on or whatever it is, tungsten lights on, not fluorescents, hopefully. Oh my God.
Unless it's a hospital.
We're at the hospital. Um, and then you just want to be sure that as you're executing that getting ready scene, that you're telling the whole story. Taylor, what are some ways that a filmmaker or photographer tells the whole story in a really well-rounded way?
Yeah, so I probably let you tell this story because it's yours. But really, really trying to come up with a way you can weave your shots together. And although this sounds very filmmaker specific, it is indeed not. It is also for photographers. Of course, you guys have the amazing ability to have each image stand on its own and be its own unique, like icon shot. But when somebody is flipping through a carousel on your Instagram page or flipping through a gallery, human beings are naturally gravitating towards stories. And I was actually listening to a podcast the other day who was talking about incorporating story into your brand and your marketing. And although that's like a slightly different like niche, she dropped this like statistic that I thought was so interesting. And it is that people are 70% more likely to actually pay attention to something that is story driven. Because since the dawn of time, when we were all sitting around the fire with no technology to keep us company and no, written text for us to be able to read, like societies were all based off of stories. So history was told through stories, parables and like lessons were all told through stories. And like story is like the root of like humanity. So our brains are just so wired to seek out story. And we're all also like more emotionally inclined to care about something if it's tied to a story. Like imagine if somebody just said like, "Oh, I heard that this store opened." And you're like, "I really don't care. There's plenty of stores in our town." But then if somebody said, "I heard that this sweet old man who was born in 1940, grew up, and every day he would go to his mom's bread bakery and he would sit on these huge bags of flour and he dreamed of opening his own whatever. And he like stumbled through life and it was so hard, but eventually he overcame that and he just grand opened this store and it's so exciting. Like, aren't you more compelled to like want to go to that store now?
Yes.
Than just like telling what it is. So our job as artists is to tell the story and to give people a reason to care and to emotionally resonate with what we are creating. And I think you have like kind of a nice little like way we can approach that as filmmakers and photographers.
Yes. So if you're kind of sitting here listening and you're like, okay, well, how do I even get started telling the story? I think that it's really wise to lean into our five senses. And at the wedding that we shot last weekend, I was kind of sitting in on the briefing session, the pre-wedding brief that the main photographer was giving to his second and his third. And he said something that really stuck out to me, and I've heard it before, but it's just such a great reminder. And he said, as you guys are, getting into the getting ready or shooting cocktail hour or even shooting family photos, and there's other things happening other than what I'm shooting of the main family photos. I love to capture each of those scenes leaning into the five senses. So, first, what are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you tasting? Which is like a weird one to think, but like, what are they sipping on? Like, are they sipping on champagne? Like, grab a shot of that. Like, it's sitting in the bucket. They're popping it. They're drinking it, sipping it. Like that. That's what we mean by that. And then, what are you smelling? Is there like a beautiful perfume in the air? You're capturing some of that. And then also what do you touch and feel? So that may be like the details of the day. You're capturing the dress, you're capturing maybe the brides in their robes or whatever it may be. Like, I don't know. There's just so many things that we can do and pull from in that. And when we have a chance to like take a second and really be observant. So we're going to go back to the first one. And actually, we had Chris with Storybox Cinema speak in one of our very first masterminds, and he brought in the same thing. He said, when I walk into a space, I really just take a minute to tune into those five senses. And then, let's say it's cocktail hour now. What am I hearing? Okay, are there musicians that are playing? Let's go and capture those. I
Or
felt
even
like in
like
the
people
beginning,
laughing. I feel like I love seeing like the
yeah.
emotion in people laugh. I like when I'm looking at the image or watching the video, I'm like, I can hear that belly laugh of that man right there, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And that is telling the story. Like it truly is. And I felt like in the beginning years of business, and I feel like I see a lot of novice filmmakers and photographers do this, is they put the entire story on the couple. They put the entire story just on the couple when actually there's so much story outside of just that couple. It's in the guests. It's in their food program. It's in the entertainment that's there too. And so I think that by leaning into those five senses and just try it. Maybe next weekend you have a wedding and walk into each of those spaces and just really be observant as to what those are. And I really think it's going to elevate just that entire scene.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll say too, like I think that's what separates like maybe like a visually pretty film or a visually pretty gallery with one that's just like takes your breath away. And again, it doesn't have to be changing like your style. It's just like really adding layers. Maybe adding layers is like the best way to describe it. It's adding the layers.
Mhm.
Like there's nothing more bland, honestly, than just like seeing kind of like the same focal length, the same like distance from the subject, like the whole time shot in like the same way. And I think that it's easy to do. And with like Instagram reels, like really, really popping off, like people were just looking for that like eye candy shot. But I feel like your work can feel kind of shallow if you
Yeah,
do that. And that's what separates like the big dogs from like the people who maybe like take things at face value what they're seeing on Instagram, but they're not applying it like in the same way. Like sure, like that shot is gorgeous, but like what we're seeing from like the people who are at the top is just like this depth to their work and this like
right.
feeling. I don't know. I'm not the most like emotional person like when it comes to like being tied to my work, but like even me, like I feel it. Um coming from the robot.
She's getting emotional, guys. Our little robot Taylor is getting emotional.
It's okay. The type A ADHD robotic team member and Kelly's are like floating through life, type B emotional. Well, actually, you're not very emotional.
Okay, that's the funny thing
You're
about
not.
us. Actually, I think that you come off more robotic than you really are. Like, so I feel like you're externally robotic, but internally actually pretty emotional. And then I'm the opposite. I'm like externally seeming like very emotional, but then internally I'm actually just a robot.
We are literally the yin and yang in like nearly every way. Like from our hair color to what we're wearing today, if you're watching on YouTube,
Yeah,
to our personality types. It's just great. That's why we like work together so well. If we were
I
both the
know.
same, this would be such a boring
I know.
partnership.
Right? Also, okay, this is just like a funny little thing. So last night, Paul and I went to dinner and we were in a restaurant and obviously we were at dinner. And so, and so, um, it had like really pretty room noise. I don't know what to the acoustics in the room were great and like there actually wasn't any music playing, which was interesting because usually at a restaurant you would like hear some music, but it was really just room noise and people chatting, laughing. You could hear like some clinking of glasses, whatever. And Paul actually unknowingly he pulled his phone out and turned on his like voice memo thing and just recorded the room noise for like 5 straight minutes. And he pulled it out and he's like, okay, I got some like good room noise. Do you think you could like use this maybe in like one of your films coming up? And I'm like, yeah, that is so smart because a lot of times on a wedding day, there is music playing and this is like kind of relating just to filmmakers. So I'm sorry, photographers, if you're listening in. But I was like, that is so smart because a lot of times, we're having to lay down a track of song, a soundtrack, and then it's gonna clash with like the music that was playing at the event. And so he just took initiative. He was observant and he took initiative. And this was outside of the wedding day, but it's something that we can implement in order to build a deeper layer of story and emotion within our films.
You could literally use that in every single film you ever edit, and no one would ever know it's the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's so
Yeah.
subtle. Like the levels are so low. It's not like the same song playing, or and you can still recycle songs too. I'm not against that, but I love that. Like, what an amazing asset. You guys should bundle that up and sell it because I'm sure there's lots of people who love to get their hands on it.
Bundle it up and sell it. Oh my gosh. All
Okay,
right.
this is the last one, and it really does just like stem from all three of the previous points that we've made, but shoot with the end product in mind. Really take yourself to that editing bay or that editing room or to your laptop and imagine how you're going to be feeling editing together, piecing together what you've captured today. And I know like I've had experiences in the past where I get to that edit and I'm like, dang, I really didn't get enough of this. Or, it's like all of these shots are the same focal length, the same angle. I really
Mm,
needed this variety. And I think if you just like take a step back and think like, how do I want the end result to actually look and shoot for that? Like, I think your work is automatically going to be elevated a ton. And I know it sounds so simple, but you'd be surprised at how many people just go about their business on the wedding day without really thinking twice about the end result. And just this like extra step, this extra reflection, I feel like can go a long way.
yeah, absolutely. I had to really learn, and this was something I still struggle with now because I just, when you're in the budget market, it's hard to shoot wide, actually, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that are going to give away the fact that this isn't your most elevated wedding, right? And so for so long, we were faking it till we made it, and we were shooting so tight because, like, you can really get strategic and
You can hide
mold.
things.
You can hide a lot of things when you're shooting tight like that, right? Even down to like the getting ready room. Back in the day, there was like 16 million bridesmaids in like a regular hotel room. And I
Like
mean,
an
now
800 square foot room
100 square foot, and there's just
or
like junk everywhere. Like there's so much stuff everywhere. And so you have this like little tiny corner of a room to like set up for the bride to like put her dress on and her earrings on. And then like now, I mean, we get to like shoot in these huge suites that are like multiple rooms and we can like, and so part of me was like, I just go back to like oh, I just have a little corner. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, I can like take a step back. I have a full room that's like clean and tidy, and it tells a better story of the day than like just the bride standing on this white wall, you know? So I just shoot wider, like, is what I'm getting at, is that take a step back. And as your events are increasing in, scale and production and heavier on the details, just know that you can like take a step back a little bit more. And within Mastermind, we do some like little website. We do like portfolio reviews and stuff. And so there was one week where I had filmmakers and photographers throw in galleries and films. And I was reviewing a film that one of our students did, and it was just like so tight. And there was like one drone shot that they had grabbed of cocktail hour, and it was in this like beautiful meadow in Montana. But like 90% of the footage was just like tight close-ups on like people's faces. And I'm like, we're missing a whole element here of like where this is taking place.
It
Like,
gives it, what's the word we were like so obsessed with a few weeks ago?
oh, context.
Context.
Yeah.
Context.
Yeah, give context to that scene. And so that was the main takeaway that I had for her is I was like, see this shot, like more of this. Yes, we want to layer in people being able to recognize those that they love and like some tighter shots and stuff, but like we need to also just like set the scene and give context to the overall element of that day.
Yeah, and it tells the story better. And if you capture it, if you remember to capture it, then when you're sitting there editing, you'll feel complete. And actually, that's like something I don't feel like enough people get enough like ambient like location shots. I feel like that's something that's really missing in a lot of galleries and films that I see. And I think as filmmakers, we are slightly more inclined to capture those or remember those. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of photographers who I'm missing. Like, I'm like, just capture a beautiful door with some like the shadows of some branches on it, or like
Yeah.
just like give some like spatial awareness, some spatial context, like capture the property or
Yeah.
the location. And if it's not like a gorgeous property, like how can we like shoot the trees or like what there's always going to be something that's pretty like
Yeah.
for most of the time, like even if it could be like the pattern on the wallpaper in the hotel room, like maybe that's pretty or like whatever. But I think that like we need like that white space when it comes to like looking at the gallery or looking at how things are kind of like tiled. And if it's all like just people and all faces, I feel like we get like fatigue, the eye
Mhm.
becomes fatigued. And so we
Yeah.
just like need some content to like break it up and like give the breathing room. And that's the same
Yeah.
for films too.
Yeah. Yeah. That content is so important, that breathing room, that white space. And again, all of those things for you, if you're like, okay, I hear you talking about all these things, but I just need to know what to shoot, how to shoot it, how to make it better. That's why our elevated shot list is in our shop. That's why we created it. And as you know, I think a great bonus is that we partnered with a luxury wedding planner to really, give her stamp of approval and kind of get inside her mind of exactly what are things that wow her, like I said, things that she feels like are often missed and she's bummed when she sees like a gallery, and that might be the difference of that wedding planner, reaching out for a referral for a wedding the next year or later on that season because you really just executed the wedding day in a way that wedding planners want to see it in their eyes. And also just for your clients too, just making it a really great experience on how they relive that day through your lens.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope you guys enjoyed this one. We really wanted to, I know we don't really talk about like the art
We
or
don't a lot.
but we talked about Illum and like how we can approach, coloring a little bit differently. And we talked about this today. We just think it's like kind of fun to like bring it back to what we're actually doing, we're actually creating as photographers and filmmakers. So we hope you've enjoyed these last couple of episodes. Next week we're going to be taking a huge shift in what we're chatting about. We are so excited. So you'll have to stay tuned and listen in next week to see what I'm teasing here.
Yeah. It's going to be so good. So I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you again for being here. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, please like so that more photographers and filmmakers can find, this content, this podcast, and also give, oh my gosh, you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, these clouds have just been like the bane of my existence this episode. And now I'm just a white little ghost, but we're going to go with it. And There's a lot that you're missing out if you're not watching on YouTube and you're just audibly listening to us. Um, it's a whole nother ball game over here. But comment into, we read every single comment. And then we always like text each other when we receive a comment from you guys. And yeah, or send us a DM on Instagram if you liked this one. And we hope that you'll grab that elevated shot list on our shop.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.